Hello you guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Party Candy, where I teach you how to be a balloon baddie. My name's Jacqueline. I own and operate my own party decor business out in Texas, and today's video I'm going to be going over a lot of miscellaneous questions I've gotten from my YouTube videos, on TikTok, Instagram. I have a lot of you guys message me asking me how I do this, how I do that, and today I'm going to be going over all of those things, including how I intake a client, what type of questions I'm asking, how I'm prepping for things, what I'm charging, how I pack for jobs, how I prep before an event, do I have contracts, like what am I doing? If you're just starting out, I'm on the smaller side right now, so I'm going through the same things that you are possibly if you've started a business recently, and I hope this is helpful for you. So I'm just gonna be going down my list. At the end, I'll do a bonus balloon pop. I know a lot of you guys love balloon popping, so I have some balloons downstairs that need to be popped. I got you. And yeah, let's get started. FYI, I did recently get some teeth pulled and I have Invisalign in, so I'm talking a bit funny. I'm still getting used to that, so excuse me, I'm gonna lisp a lot. Whew, it's hot. Let's see. Okay. All right, so I started my business October 2019. I was really ramping up pre-COVID, and then when COVID struck, I had to shift. I had to change the way I did everything. But before COVID, I did everything by the books. I registered as an LLC so that I can get insurance. I got a sales tax permit, and I started my business checking account. A lot of you guys, I know you start out, you're doing events for your family and your friends, but when you start doing bigger events at venues, there are venues that require you to have insurance. So if you plan on doing bigger events, more serious, taking on more serious clients, you need to have insurance. And so my recommendation is that you do everything by the books, register your business, get your sales tax permit, and then get your insurance, because you do not want to be held liable for things if your backdrop falls on somebody or someone has like an allergic reaction to your balloons, or you can never predict what's going to happen, so you're best to be covered and have that insurance policy. I want to say mine's like $15 a month. I've also gotten questions about, do I have a contract? Do I have my clients sign a contract? To be honest with you, in the beginning, I didn't, because I was doing a lot of events for friends and family, and so I didn't feel the need to have that. But again, as you grow your business and as you take on more clients that you have never met in your life, that are finding you on Instagram or your website or whatever it may be, you want to have everything in writing of what is to be expected. And so in my contract, I cover what you're buying, what is expected from me, what services are you getting. There's a section about payment and deposits and refunds and whatnot, and then I also have clauses regarding weather, because we can't control the weather. And I'm sure if there are some of you that are already in this business, you know that the wind can be crazy, it could be raining, it could be really hot, and we can never predict how balloons are going to hold up in these conditions. So you want to cover yourself and obviously let the client know, like, hey, I can do this for you outside, but I can't promise you that it's going to be perfect. I can't promise you that it's going to hold up for as long as you're wanting it to be, but we can do our best to make sure that we're using the best quality, doing things to the best of our ability. But our contract clearly states we are not responsible for what happens outdoors. So I make sure I have that clause. I know a lot of people do, and it just saves you the headache. If you have a client complaining afterwards, you could tell them, hey, you signed this contract and you understood, what you were signing up for. So I highly, highly recommend that you have a contract. I personally use HELLOSIGN.com. I'll leave a link below. I started using them because I think they allow 3 free contracts a month. And so when I first started off, like that was enough for me. And I think the paid version is like $10 or $15 a month. But HelloSign is great for contracts because you can upload your contract, select the sections of the contract that you need signed, email it to your client, they review it, sign it digitally, and then it gets sent back to you. They do it all for you. Love that. So some tips and pointers for when you're taking on a client. A client messages you, they send you a DM, they fill out your inquiry form. What's next? What do you need to make sure you're getting? Obviously, like their name, phone number, email address, date of their event, time of their event, all of the basics, but you want to be asking, okay, is this indoor or outdoor? And if it's outdoor, you need to go over everything with them as far as the limits of outdoor installs. And of course, have that contract signed by them with the outdoor clause. If it's outdoors, what time of day? Where are the balloons going to be going? Because you're going to want to have the proper equipment and ladders, and depending on where they want it installed, are you going to have the right clips and to hang everything? So these are all the things you need to consider when you're taking on a client. Also, do they have length and measurements of things? And if it's a big client and you need to go out and measure things yourself, get that set up. But for the most part, clients will be able to tell you, yes, I want it above this table and the table is X length long and I want it, this high, and you could do that easily over the phone or over text. Also the location, because if you're going to be delivering these balloons, you need to consider delivery cost and how much you're going to be charging them to deliver your balloons to their home or to their event location. So yes, mileage. Personally, where I'm located, I do free delivery for a certain radius, and then every mile over that radius I charge a certain fee, and that fee can be dependent on what type of vehicle you're driving, what your gas mileage is, however you want to do it, whatever makes sense for you, charge accordingly for delivery. That kind of gets us into pricing. Pricing is a hot topic. I feel like it's very dependent on where you're located, what your clientele is like, what your experiences is like, the size of your business. Right now, it's just me, so I'm doing everything, and so I feel like my prices are pretty fair, but I do predict that they will go up as I expand, as I get better, as I hire people on. I'm going to have to take account for that in my pricing. But for right now, it's just me, and I imagine that a lot of you guys, you're doing it on your own. I personally charge $18 per foot of garland. And that's just your basic garland that has 5-inch balloons, 11-inch balloons, and 17-inch balloons. If a client wants orbs or clears or different foils in their garland, I will charge accordingly for those items. This does not include a delivery fee. My delivery fee for my garland starts at $20, and again, if it's further out, I charge per mile. Also, like, I have rentals. So rentals, if you have a rental, like I have a balloon hoop, you obviously have to go pick that up. So there will also be an extra delivery fee for that, to go back, to return to the venue, pick up your balloon hoop, tear down the balloons, and go back home. So most of our jobs, we do the balloons, leave them there, and we're done. But when you have rentable items and backdrops, you have to return for those things. So be sure to either work that into your pricing or charge a separate fee to return and tear down. Personally, right now, I just use my car to pack balloons up, and everything's worked out so far, but there have been instances where I've had to rent U-Haul vans. And so in that instance, I will charge the client exactly what I'm paying, because U-Hauls, if you've never rented a U-Haul, you pay for the van and then you pay per mile. And so usually you're able to estimate that pretty closely. So I just charge the client for that, give or take a few dollars for my time, the time it takes me to drive to the U-Haul, drop off my personal car, and then, you know, until I get my own van, renting a U-Haul just makes sense for me. I've never had a client complain for charging them for that rental. As long as you're not overcharging them, be fair about it. I've also gotten a question about how I prep for events. Like, am I doing everything beforehand? Am I prepping certain things? Like, what do you do? This has honestly changed over time as I've gained more experience. I know how long certain things are gonna take me. I know I have my own preferences for this. So when I first started, I was super worried about having enough time to do everything. So I would prep basically everything. I'd blow up my balloons, get my garlands together, and like pack that all up and go to my event place and just set it up. But now I know like that doesn't always make sense, and you could save so much money by doing the setup at your venue if you have the time. So one of the things you want to ask when you do get a client is, how much time do I have to set up? And sometimes this is at people's homes, at their personal venues where they have, you know, unlimited time to set up. And that's great because you can go do your thing and have unlimited amount of time. But if they're at a venue and they only have an hour to set up before their rental time, you only have an hour to set up before the rental time. So you have to take that into consideration. Like I've had an event where they only had an hour to set up before their party started, and I had a lot to set up. So I came with a van, everything was pre-blown. So I used that hour to set everything up so that it was ready by the time their party started. So when you're intaking a client, be sure to ask them, okay, how much time will I have to set up? And then you, based on your experience and how long it takes you to set something up, you can make the call about what needs to be done before your event. Personally, I love to blow up all of my 5-inch balloons because they're a pain in the butt. I always do those before an event, just so all I have to do is blow up like the bigger balloons. I've personally started to time myself. So I know how long it takes me to do certain items. Like I know it takes me from start to finish 45 minutes to do a 10-foot garland, everything, 5-inch, 11, 17-inch, tie it all together, hang it up, 45 minutes start to finish. And so if I'm doing a 10-foot garland for someone, I know I need at least 45 minutes and I'm good. Balloon walls, balloon hoops, that stuff takes longer, and I've timed myself on those, and I know like, okay, if I only have an hour, I'm gonna have to come with basically everything blown up because we're gonna have to hit the ground running on that to get it done in time for the start of their party. So yeah, again, prepping for an event, it's a personal choice how much you do beforehand, but also sometimes it's not in your control and you need to plan ahead. Always plan ahead. Plan for the worst. That's what I always do. What do I pack for my job? So I carry this bag with me everywhere. It's just like an Adidas gym bag, and I have the same stuff in it that I take to all of my jobs. So let me show you. This stays packed all the time. Ooh. All right, so first I have like this little organizer that I have actually a checklist for of everything I have in here, and I always keep it packed this way. It's all the miscellaneous things I might need during a job. So I have like push pins, safety pins, nails, extra hooks, all of my like sticky hooks, fishing wire, my little vinyl applicator, hand sanitizer, scissors, glue dots, tape, I have like a name tag I wear sometimes, keep it in here. My low temp glue gun and glue sticks. All of that I keep in here, and it comes in handy. I mean, it's come in handy a lot. So I recommend just having something like that where you have just miscellaneous things that might come in handy during a job. Highly, highly recommend. I keep an extra balloon pump. Personally, I have 3 of these, and I always take 2 to a job because if one of these were to go out, like we know it would be terrible not to have a balloon pump to blow up your balloon. So always take 2 with you. And I've kept one in my trunk for the longest time. Like, they're cheap enough that you can have multiple. So I highly, highly recommend always have an extra. I keep a hand pump. Sometimes foils are easier to blow up with a hand pump, so I always keep that. I keep extra fishing wire. If you've watched my videos before, I prefer to put my garlands together with 260s, but I've had an instance where I forgot to pack my 260s, and so I was able to use fishing wire and get the job done. So this definitely comes in handy if you have to revert to prior ways. I also have, I want to keep this, an extension cord. The extension cords that come on the balloon pumps are really short, so just have one in case you need it. An extra pair of scissors, which I keep in my little green box that I showed you. Extra clips. I always bring like a fresh box of clips with me, but that's just leftover extra. Heavy duty. This is Gorilla Tape. Honestly, this has come in handy way more often than not, so keep some heavy duty tape with you. Have extra glue dots in here. You can never have enough of those. My blue painter's tape I like to use under my clips. And I just have some balloon string in here. You never know when you might need balloon string, but I have needed it before. So that's everything in my bag. And oh, AirPods. I cannot tell you how nice it is to have AirPods while you're doing balloons. You know, sometimes we could be on a job for 2 hours and it's just nice to be able to listen to music or a podcast or a book and just vibe. So AirPods or headphones of any sort, I think it's so handy. Miscellaneous questions. When you're transporting helium balloons, I highly, highly recommend using balloon transport bags because I have had balloons pop. And not just like the latex balloons pop, but I use the clear orbs that I put custom vinyls on. I've had those pop and it's been really sad. So I highly recommend using balloon transport bags. I order mine sometimes when I order from City Balloons. So I want to say they're like 50 cents each or something really, really inexpensive, like 20 cents. So I'm always stocked up on those. I highly recommend using those. They also come in handy when I prep all of my 5-inch balloons. I throw them in those balloon transport bags and I just throw them in the back of my car. It's just, they're way bigger and longer and deeper than like a trash bag. So I highly recommend those. Also, miscellaneous tip, when you are doing jumbo balloons, I double stuff mine because those are a lot harder to pop, the latex balloons, but if it does pop, it's a lot harder to pop if it's double stuffed, and if it pops, like only the outside balloon's gonna pop first, so you're good still. So I highly recommend that. Also, like when I'm doing balloon jobs, I obviously will always pack extra inventory. Like behind me, I have all of these balloons. I pack extra if I have it. I pack alternatives if something goes wrong. You always want to be over prepared. So I highly, highly recommend to always travel with extra balloons. And that's it. I hope this was helpful. If you have any more questions, I've been reading your comments. I get DMs all the time on TikTok and Instagram, and I've been trying to keep track of it so that I can do more videos and answer your questions and be helpful. So if you have anything else you would like to know, just leave it below. Leave me a comment, send me a DM, whatever you need to do. I will answer you. But until next time, peace. All right, you guys, these are kind of old, so they won't pop as much. And I've got a few randoms. Let's go. Always the baby ones. Sorry guys, it's a little. See down here? Wow. Okay. Okay, I'm scared. Alright. Peace, you guys.